Hey, Superior Shave fans, not humans, how you doing today? June 1st, 2024. This one is for Perryville, Maryland. He mailed a razor in for honing, and it is a Dovo Prima steel, with which looks like a completely gorgeous and uniform bevel. Nice uniform width, but when you look at it in the microscope, with the binocular stereo microscope versus the way that I hone, what you see is, if this is the bevel, what I'm looking for is when I point the bevel straight at the binocular stereo microscope, that I can't see the first 0.2 of an mm, and then at the back, if I've done a good job of curving the bevel, this part reflects toward the lens and then the rest kind of disappears. So you get that variance in reflection. With this one, you point it straight forward and you can't see, but then as you tilt like this, you get a reflection of the whole thing at once. So it's a beautiful, pretty bevel, but it's just too thick, in my opinion. He writes, I appreciate your dedication to reviving this original, most accurate and effective methods of stropping and honing. I fell victim to the online misinformation and tried honing this razor with 4K, 8K, and 12K synth stones to no avail. Could you please correct my mistakes? Other than using the correct flat true stones, if you have any tips or comments for improving my technique, let me know. I hope to buy one of your convex stones in the future. Thanks for your expertise. Yeah, the razor looks very pretty, but I need to make it look ugly, but thinner. So I'm going to choose, actually I'll go with this caudicle that's on the site now. I would prefer to thin out what he's got with a caudicle because it leaves the finest scratches behind. I have faster stones, but they all are coarser. I am going to make a slurry with this little stone. This is my little anti-stone here, and it's shaped the opposite shape of this, which is, it's a distorted little lens, but it's a very convex stone. This is shaped to 6.5 feet going down this 7-inch axis, and that is just an absolutely perfect caudicle, pure as the driven snow, not a variance on it, just the way I like it. It's not as fast as this boo, so I'll try for a minute or two to see if I'm making good headway, and if I am, I'll stay on this one. Otherwise, I'll switch to that boo, which is really quick. I wish they still had the cauticles that say patas, or there's an accent on there, so I don't know the correct French pronunciation. But anyway, that cuticule has a rumbly surface that no matter how much you lap it with fine things, it always feels a little bit gravelly. But what it does is, however the binder is in that particular vein of cuticule, it is able to move steel around quicker than the percentage of garnets that it lacks versus what the stone over there, which is higher in garnets. That means that it's kind of special, theoretically to me, in the shaped stone universe. Well, as you can see, we're getting good slurry here and here, like the stone is showing that he's taking off metal. I wonder if I should use this bench stone the way that I use those little baby slurry stones. You know, pretend it's a little slurry stone and you're just going like this. As long as you don't change the spine's relationship to the stone, to the curve on the stone, the razor doesn't know the difference. You can see as I'm moving around, when I get near the heel, I lean the toe up, and when I get near the toe, I'm leaning the heel up. That's because the stone has a 25-foot curve going across it, meaning the middle point is higher, so to speak, than the rest of it. It's not a cylinder, it's a near cylinder. So if you treat it like a cylinder, the middle of your razor will get too much wear and the rest won't get enough wear. Yeah, this works pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, he's moving steel quick. Okay, let's bring some of that slurry back. Dee-dee-dee. Cauticles have a signature scratch pattern, which it looks like random scratches, like the direction of the scratches versus the direction that you're moving on the stone are not in accord, because the steel cutters, the garnets, have multifaceted edges like a Roblox version of a soccer ball or something, and I guess that's where that funny striation pattern comes from. As this was delivered, it had beautiful, super uniform waterstone scratches, but not the thinness that you want. It did cut arm hair easily though, so I don't know how experienced this fellow is. I didn't strop it and take it against arm hair in the air, but flush to my arm, it cut easily and with a nice high pitch. A better standard is stropping, and then I take the razor edge in opposition to my hair growth on my arm near my left elbow. I try to point the razor directly in the opposition to the hair growth, about 2 millimeters above the skin, and I see if it can cut that way. Well, that's certainly moving quick, isn't it? I just realized that you, the camera, are attached to this little slide projector mount, so I don't want to be going like that and you're shaking your view. I should have brought another tripod over here. Good Lord, I have so many tripods. Anyway, I suppose this part's a little boring, so we'll pause here and I will update you soon. Okay, Superior Shave fans that are humans, we are back. I was about 12 to 15 minutes range off camera. Now I take it back about that La Grise 50 by 175. With slurry, he's plenty fast. He's just not fast with plain water. Now this one, that's the convex boo on the site, this is a La Vainette or Dressant, and he's really fast with plain water. But I'm just going to put a little bit of slurry on there for a split second. Now the way I know that I've taken over the geometry of this, well, one way would just be to go get the microscope. But if you didn't have a microscope and you had like a 10x loop like I have, when you use slurry and you use an aggressive shape like this, the slurry is raised above the surface of the stone. So you have two 6.5-foot wheels coming together with an abrasive in between them, so to speak. And what happens is, as you get close to setting the entire razor with that aggressive shape, those little pieces of slurry here and there will put tiny chips, really, really small chips in the bevel's edge itself, in the apex of the razor. They're so small and they go to such a small percentage of the bevel that when you go to longer wheels and finer grits, they easily come off. But that lets you know that in addition to the scratches from the cuticle raining down in their funny crisscross pattern toward the bevel, so you're looking all the way to the edge with the bevel, and you can see those little striations that are from the cuticle, which were not there when as it received. It was like a mirror, but now it has striations that are coming all the way down. Ideally, I want to leave them on there. That means that I didn't affect the side of the bevel that's toward the spine as he gets it. I just want to correct the tip of the bevel where I've chipped it a little bit. So now I'm going to go rinse this off and use 6.5 foot for a second. It's such easy work, honestly, it really is. All you need is a good tool. All right, that's enough of that. Now I need to have a gentle touch and switch to a longer wheel. My longer wheel in this case is orienting the razor's heel toward that. This is the 6.5 foot axis. That would be the 25 foot axis, which means if we had something going 45 degrees, that'd be like 15 feet, something like that. This is close enough. I think this is going a little bit more toward the 25 foot axis, so moving the razor this way is something like, I don't know, 17, 18 foot wheel, something like that. It doesn't take long at all, because by changing the shape of the stone, I am immediately going to a different part of the bevel than I was touching before. Now I'm touching the front of the bevel where you do the actual shaving. Before, I was sharpening from the spine side. This is just my opinion. You don't have to do it this way, but I feel the proper way to sharpen a straight razor is to start from the spine and move toward the edge, starting with your smallest wheel and coarsest grit and progressing to finer abrasives shaped as longer diameters, so that you have a compound, curved, concave shape to your razor's bevel. Anyway, I'm going to try to mirror that axis over here a little bit, and I take the negative stone and rub it around and go rinse it off, so that the idea is you're promoting wear everywhere, because when I'm using this facet as my guide, I'm kind of only honing in there, and over time the rest of the stone would get high. That's why it's good to make the concaving stone like this. And then you just, after you finish shaping your hone, you put sandpaper on top of the hone and use that to rub the opposite shape into your base, into your rubbing stone, which is what I have here. So I don't know if you could tell, probably you can't tell, but that is concave. That axis you could actually see, can't you? Sure you can. All right, Superior Shave fans, it takes, 5 minutes at least. We're doing that 15 foot. So we're going to pause here and then we'll switch to the final 2 steps. Okay, Superior Shave fans, not humans. The temptation is always to stay on those progressive steps too much. You don't want to do that. Now, when you get to the last step, if you're doing a fine enough hone and a long enough diameter shape, I don't think you can overdo it. So you can hang out on the last step a long time. But that intermediate step, you don't want to do that too long, or you will reset your whole bevel with a longer, thicker shape. You want to leave the work from the first step untouched on as much of the bevel as you possibly can. By moving 90 degrees to this axis, it's like I'm using a 25-foot diameter caudicle wheel right now. I just like putting a little caudicle on there, and then we'll go to the finale, the Arkansas stone. All right, be right back. This stone is the same shape as the last time that I touched that caudicle in the direction that I was touching it. In other words, the same shaping device was used for both of them, literally the exact same plate. And the axis down this 10-inch line is 25 feet. Going across this 3 inches is 6.5 feet. Maybe just a little more oil. Okay, almost done. When I'm honing down this 25-foot axis with the Arkansas stone, I'm trying to, with my hand that's holding the tang, I'm trying to twist into the stone ever so slightly. Because again, in my opinion, this step works better if you deflect the edge a little bit with Arkansas stone. I don't know if that's true with water stones, and I would actually have to guess that it's not true. But with the Arkansas stone, due to its unique structure, bending into the wheel ever so slightly with the tang seems to get me the results that I want. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and stop and strop. Mr. Henry, don't strop this razor when you get it. Just rinse off the ballistol oil with hot water and shave with it once the way you get it, just so we can be sure that if your stropping variances are harming the razor, that's not a factor in your first shave. And to be honest, the razor looked pretty good. It just looked not as thin as it could be. And people that struggle with a straight razor and haven't tried to thin their straight razor because of what they read on the shaving forums, in my opinion, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.